Okay, so this is the thin and crispy pizza crust mix, Walmart, 78 cents. And it says I need half a cup of water and hot water and a tablespoon of the vegetable oil, which I have that. I got vegetable oil. And I will get some hot water warmed up on the fire out there. And then we will mix this. It says to let it set for 5 minutes. It gives instructions on how to cook it in the oven, because most people cook in the oven and not over the campfire. And then I was reading reviews, and some people said let it sit for an hour, not 5 minutes, to get the most out of the dough. Now, if this works good, the next time I do it, I will, and if it's not as thick crust as I want it, I can add a little yeast and let it sit for that hour as well. So we will get hot water, and then we'll get this going. Okay, I got my water hot. Now, we mix. I have no flour, because that was one thing I forgot. I do have pancake mix, which I'm not going to use as a non-sticking agent. I'm just going to use this vegetable oil. So I've got it where I want it, and I'm going to let it set, cover it, and let it set for about an hour, and then stretch it, preheat the cast iron, the Dutch oven. Oh yeah, there we go. Preheat the Dutch oven when the time comes, and prep the vegetables in the meantime, and we'll get this pizza going. The vegetables, the peppers and onions have been cut. I am pre-cooking them. One, to get some of the moisture out of them, and two, so they're cooked. I'm mimicking off of Cody and Kelly's Adventure, I think it is. They used to be Dome Life. It used to be Dome Life. I'll put that link in the description below on how they made theirs. That's kind of how I'm mimicking mine. I do have tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I'm not pre-cooking them, because if I do, they're going to turn into a paste. The way I'm intending this to work, cook these down till the onions are translucent, which means the peppers are pretty much where I want them to be. Then I will preheat the Dutch oven. I've coated it with oil. I'll coat it with oil again, preheat it. While that's preheating, I will stretch out the dough and then transfer it into the Dutch oven. Now, if you have wax paper, that's ideal, but I don't. And I'm not going to use aluminum foil, because I don't think that's going to work right. So I'm just going to do what other people have done and just put it right in the Dutch oven. And then I'll cook it over indirect heat or coals for 10 minutes, or until the pizza dough starts to bubble. I'll pull it off of the heat, put my Alfredo sauce. It's going to be a vegetable pizza, because I'm just trying to see if this is going to work the way I want it to before I invest in a whole lot of ingredients. Put the Alfredo sauce, put the peppers, onions, tomatoes, cover it with cheese, put it back over coals, let it cook for about another 10 minutes, or until the cheese has fully melted and encapsulated the vegetables, and then figure out how to get it out of the Dutch oven and serve it up. That's what the procedure should be. Whether it goes that way or not, I don't know yet. The vegetables, the onions are translucent, peppers are tender. I re-stoked it just to try to get more burned down before I put the actual dough crust in the cast iron. I'm going to put the cast iron over next to the fire here in order to get that warmed up, and then I'll go in and start stretching the dough in order to get it close to what I need to put inside. Now, this is a 10-inch crust, or cast iron, so it's going to be a little thicker crust than what normally 12 or 14 obviously. So it'll be a thicker crust, so that'll be fine, and we're getting closer here. We'll see how this turns out. I'll get this next to the fire and get that warming up. Thank you for coming along. Appreciate you being with me this weekend as we figure out how well doing pizza in the Dutch oven can do. If I can get the dough to cook or to start to bubble, then I know we're in good shape, because the toppings and everything, that's easy. So getting the dough stretched and getting at that point. So I've got it preheated to where I think I want it. I'm not sure how much I need to preheat. Alright, so I stretched this out in the pie pan. Now I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit more. Try to get it about the same thickness all the way around, which is be a little difficult. Now, so far, this dough has worked very, very well. It's fairly close there. I'm about a 1/4 inch off, and I'm going to think it's going to puff a little bit. So, let's go with that. Now I'm going to put it in the fire and put coals on top of it. Why, I don't know, but everybody says you put coals on top of it. So, that's what I'll do. Take some of these hot coals, move over here. And then I will wipe those off before opening. So we'll check on that in about 7 minutes. Alright, let's check on this dough crust, see what we got. It's cooking. It's not bubbled yet. It's not bubbling yet, so we'll give it some more time. Probably another, I'll get another 4 minutes. Put some more coals on top. Okay. Kind of had an oopsie with the crust here. It's still a little gummy, and I don't want to continue to bake it. The bottom, it looks good. That looks the way it needs to be, but the top here is still gummy. And I've lost part of the, and that's not terrible, it is gummy. Whew. So I'm going to put that back together the best I can. I'm going to put a little cheese on that, try to seal that up. And then put it back in the fire to try to get it to cook better, and with the toppings on it, and call it good, and try to figure out how I can make it better next time. So I'm going to get the Alfredo. I'm going to put some cheese down first, try to lock that in. Get some Alfredo as the sauce, and then add the peppers and onions, and then the tomatoes, and cook it until the cheese melts. Okay, so I put the cheese down, the Alfredo sauce, tomatoes, the onions and peppers, and now I'm adding more cheese. It's going to kind of maybe be one of these pizzas to eat with a fork, I don't know. And then I'm going to put it on the fire in order to get that cheese to kind of melt and warm the sauce up, and get it out of the pan and see what it looks like. Alright, well there that be. Give it a minute here, it's kind of all over the place, but first attempt. That's the part that was falling apart. So I'm going to let that set for a minute, and then I'll cut it in 4 pieces and see how that looks. Well, something's got a crunch to it, so that's good. You know, the dough is still a little gummy. Probably 15% gummy. But overall, that's the part that... So right now, what I would do different would be get that same pizza dough crust and add a package of yeast to it in order to get it to fluff up more, to rise more, so it swells in the Dutch oven better. Then I got to figure out how to get, and maybe that's the portion of putting coals on top in order to cook from the top down. I don't know how that works, you tell me. In order to get that dough more crisp, in order to get it, and maybe I need my coals hotter in order to really bake that in. But that is not bad looking, and I'm sure it's not going to be bad tasting. So I'm going to enjoy this, and I'll let you know afterwards on a 1 to 10 what we're looking at. Okay, so the pizza, it was better than expected. When I cut it, I thought it was going to be kind of chewy on the inside. It really wasn't. The only thing that would be different that I would change would be the cheese. Add different type of cheese on top, and maybe mozzarella. I think I had Kobe Jack. Very good pizza. Definitely will do it again, and change it up with pepperoni or sausage or venison or something like that.